JNN News, reporting live.
Good morning. Today is September 14th, 1901. This is Junior Network Special Report. I'm Richard Zhao, live in Washington, D.C. President McKinley died peacefully at 2:15 a.m. this morning. Anarchist Leon Czengos assassinated President McKinley on September 6, 1901, around 4:07 p.m., when he stood directly in front of the president and fired 2 shots into McKinley's stomach. The noise was like that made by firecrackers, which have been softened by dampness, explained the security guard. A special train is carrying McKinley's body from Buffalo to Washington as we speak right now. President McKinley embodied the contradiction of the nation, moving forward while still clinging to its past. America transformed from a rural agriculture past to an urban industrial future. President McKinley's appearance in Pan-American expedition in Buffalo proved his support for this country's industrialization. However, in style and substance, McKinley was a product of America's rural, small-town past, who embodied social and political conservatism of the Republican Party in the late 19th century. He further practiced conservatism in 2 big issues of using high tariffs to protect American industry and resisting efforts of farmers to abandon the gold standard in favor of a looser, more inflationary money policy. Following President McKinley's death, Vice President Teddy Roosevelt will become the 26th President of the United States. Roosevelt is a very progressive Republican, so progressive that some Republicans worry that he will erase McKinley's legacy. During his 2 years as a governor, Roosevelt angered party bosses with his public criticism of powerful trust and his strong support of land conservation. Roosevelt now will most likely share the progressive temperament and bring with him a sense of style and well-developed political philosophy appropriate for the new urban and industrial age. This is indeed a national tragedy. The president of the greatest country is assassinated by an anarchist in a fair that was supposed to show the greatness of this country. Now reporter Sam Tarter is with.
Hi, good evening. This is Sam Tarter with JNN News, and tonight I will be interviewing President McKinley. President McKinley, what were the problems during your presidency, and how did you respond to them?
The problems I faced during my presidency resulted from the swelling population of America due to the rapid industrialization and immigration from Europe. Greater disparity between the upper and lower classes, as well as crime and congestion, were only a few of the problems I have faced during my presidency. As of now, the federal government lacks the power and the expertise to handle the growing population. I focused much of my presidency toward protecting the American industrial progress.
Very interesting. On to the next question. What were your efforts to protect American industry?
First, I affirmed the use of tariffs. I campaigned to increase the tariffs income, both as means of reducing internal taxes and as a means of encouraging expansion of domestic industry and employment of American workers, of course. My Dingley Tariff Act raised rates to 49%. I also resisted farmers to abandon the gold standard and resisted efforts of farmers to abandon the gold standard in favor of a looser, more inflammatory money policy, which could cause major economic problems with the growing population and our industrialization.
On to our 4th question of the evening. I will now be asking Mr. Roosevelt a question. Mr. Roosevelt, how do you feel McKinley's death allowed you to have a unique opportunity despite it being a terrible tragedy?
Well, I felt immense sadness, obviously, but yes, of course, I understand that I will need to step up and that an opportunity has been placed before me. I want to elevate the progressive movement from the state to the national level. Also, I believe in the environmental roots of human behavior. A huge goal of mine has always been to ameliorate the social condition that produced men like Leon Czengos. I see him as a product of America's failure to respond to the challenges of industrialization. Instead of avenging McKinley's assailants, I want to address the problems from the source by making compromises between the common workforce and the major corporations. Thank you.
McKinley's anachronistic administration and conservative policies were incompatible with the burgeoning American society and economy during its industrialization. His short presidency did little but envision an American trade empire that relied heavily on the unchecked expansion of corporations. Shortly after the death of President McKinley, Teddy Roosevelt has been elevated to the primary position and will most likely undo and re-envision the America moving forward in the 1900s. His progressive ideals are founded in the people and will grant them greater knowledge and interest in the actions of federal government. He has expressed his belief that a consolidated government will offer the most freedom to the people. His commitment to the people will be shown in a likely crusade against the power implemented apathetically by corporations. Even so, he understands the need to compromise the will of the people with the consolidation of corporations. His policies as president will be designed